What's going on, guys? Broken Machine here. Today, a 46 kill game, 12 deaths on St. Quentin Scar, the only map in the closed alpha. But this time we are in the rain and we are using the MP18 TR version SMG. This one is part of the assault class. You get this lovely AT rocket here. A lot of people have been complaining about this one, saying it's too effective against infantry. And I would agree, actually. I think it needs some more drop to it. It's a little too easy to snipe out people at longer ranges. But its main use is against vehicles. It's quite effective. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but if you get the disable, it'll certainly help you out. You might get to safety, and it'll definitely help your team. This SMG is the MP18 TR version. There is a second one of this. I don't know if there's going to be any more, but the second one has a bigger sight, mainly catered towards medium ranges. This one is, of course, iron sights, mainly, close quarters, this kind of distance. And this flag is Bravo flag, and it's perfect for this one. This is the monastery, or, well, what's left of it. This is probably, well, almost certainly my favorite flag in the game, and it gives me good hope about what potential kind of situations we might see in the full game. Hope there's more of this. This one is mainly catered towards kind of aggressive gameplay, and you're going to see lots of action over here. It is, of course, playable by being defensive, but for the most part, I think this flag is it's an aggressive player's dream, because there's a lot of players here very often. I'm not entirely sure why, but it seems to attract a lot of players. Mainly because it's a little easier, I guess. The other flags, I'd probably say the other flags are a little less predictable. For this one, you can kind of get the sense that a lot of the players are going to come from the outside. They're going to be a little defensive before they come in, looking over the wall like I was doing, or the remains of the windows from the monastery. And yeah, you can kind of get the flow. That's the main thing about this flag. You want to take your time as you're coming up to it, like I am here. This wall is a great place just to take a little breather before you go rushing in, see what's going on. Get your bearings, get a feel for the flow of the map, and then move on in. So right here, I'm like, oh, there's not many enemies on the outside, so we're going to push in. Yeah, probably not the best pushes here. But you notice in this game, you see a lot more players having to lie down, having to crouch. I think that's a good thing. That's it certainly changes up the combat. I felt that BF4 was pretty much, for the most part, kind of run and gun in places. It would get a little defensive in other areas, but this game really mixes it up. Sometimes everybody's aggressive, sometimes they're really defensive, but a lot of the time you're going to see a total mixture of gameplay. It really just changes as the map and the game goes on. It's just, ooh, look at that shot there. That's how powerful the AT rocket is. So definitely needs some drop on it, added drop. It's a little too effective against snipers, but it's easy to get caught out. But anyway, back to the map design and the playstyle. It definitely is varied, and this this flag is certainly one of the best locations that demonstrates that. You'll see lots of people rush in, lots of defensive gameplay. It's all over the place, and the pacing changes as you go on. There's definitely going to be a skill gap in this game, I think. One of the biggest skills that I think players are going to need when they approach this game is situational awareness. And if you don't know what that means, it basically means having a good idea of what's going on around you and how you should play. So, for example, if people are being really defensive, you should try and do something to counter that. Not rush in too much, be careful. Buildings, watch out for defensive players, and check your corners, that kind of thing. You see here, I notice they've got this flag here, so I'm taking my time before I rush in. That is the light anti-tank grenade. Sorry, it's the actual anti-tank grenade. You can have a light one, which takes up your grenade slot. Not as effective as the real deal, but certainly helpful. This flag is... I showed you in the previous video where I went... I forget the score, but I was MVP with the LMG. This flag is an interesting one. Get lots of gunfights here, and if you look at the top of the screen, actually, you can see the little bar above the D. It actually shows a rough guide of how many enemies are on the flag. So, say if it was about a third filled in with blue, and you had 2 people, you could make the assumption that there would be 2/3, so 4 people on the enemy team on the flag. I think that's how it works. I'm not entirely sure, but that's the idea I got. So that's kind of interesting. It does change up the gameplay a little bit. It allows you to make the right decisions of what you're going to do on the flag. So if you say you're on the flag on your own, and the bar was all the way to the left of the blue, only a tiny little pixel, you could safely assume that you're probably going to die. You're probably not going to last very long. There's going to be a lot of enemies. So that certainly is going to change the game up. See here, the bar's all the way to the left, so I'm pretty much like, yeah, we're going to be screwed here, so I start playing very defensively. But unfortunately, this guy comes rushing up and gets a dirty melee kill. It looked a little fishy, but I think it was just the lag, to be honest. I just think it's just a bit laggy, which happens with melee kills. It does happen in every game. So not concerned about that. Quick spawn. You'll notice it is very fast to spawn in. But if you don't spawn on a teammate, you do spawn, for the most part, quite away from the flag. So you're not going to see players just spawn in straight away and just stop the cap. Like if you were to take this flag and then you kill an enemy, they wouldn't just spawn straight in and be right back on the flag. So don't worry about that too much. These guys are taking a very defensive role in there. Fortunately, that grenade gets me. One thing I do want to say is, pay attention to how much destruction is going on around you. There's always, I would say 70% of the time, something on screen that is blowing up, bits are falling off it. Whether it's just a tiny bit of a wall, a bit of mud flying in the air, there's always something. It's always at least 70% of the game. It's great. I love it.
We have lost objective apples.
Now this tree here, you will actually see me hide behind it very often. It's actually really effective. If this wall on the left is still there, that is a good spot to get some health. If you check out my video, the 17 kill streak, where I come riding in the plane and then dropping and loads of explosions and stuff. We're going a pretty nice 17 kill streak. You check that out. I use that wall in that tree to get some health back and get a nice little double feed on that. So you can see me in that video using it to my benefit. Now this building here is an interesting one. You've got a ladder either side that you can climb up. Oh, I think just one actually. But that's a good place to take a little breather. When the full game comes out, I definitely 100% advise you try and get used to the maps as quickly as you can. Just one thing here before we come around. This guy here, I don't know what was up with that spot, but I saw at least 5 people up there. Not all at once, but across the hours I played, there was, honestly, I'm talking like I'd say about 4 or 5 games, somebody would be stood up there. I was like, what is with that spot? What? Why are people up there? What is this? I have no idea. I have no idea. It's just bizarre. Now, right there, you actually saw me get a nice double feed. It is possible to take on multiple targets, but I have a feeling that in this one it's going to be a little more difficult than BF4. BF3 I actually felt it was kind of easier to take on multiple targets. I don't know about you guys, but it kind of felt that way. BF4 was a little difficult in places, mainly because the weapon design changed and you couldn't really get away with some weapons at long ranges. It did change up a little bit. It really did. But this game, I definitely advise trying to stick to 1v1 situations unless you can line up targets. Like here, I'm bailing. But unfortunately, I get swamped. What I should have done there was use that wall and that tree down there. I should have used that for cover. There's another situation right there. I should have used it, but unfortunately, I was kind of, just in the zone, kind of getting stuck in a gunfight. I was like, if I run away, I'm probably gonna get shot in the back. I'm on low health anyway, so I may as well take my chances. Sometimes you have to make that decision. Can't win every gunfight.
I need ammunition.
You see right there, this SMG, definitely hipfire is the way to go. I wonder if they've actually made it, I don't know if they have, this is just a guess, but I think it actually is easier to hipfire it. When I was aiming down sight, I don't know why, I just didn't feel like I was dropping them as fast. I don't know, maybe that's just me being crap aim. But that could be, if they added that to the game, I don't think it is actually. But if they added that to the game to make the SMGs like more focused on close range gunfights, like maybe they're not as accurate while aiming down the sight, I wonder if that could be an interesting change. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. But yes, when you play this game in the open beta, and by the way, make sure you sign up for the Battlefield Insider program. You can get early access to the open beta. Make sure you do that. I'll leave a link in the description actually about that. Yeah, do make sure you try and get used to every weapon as much as you can. Don't worry about your KD or your stats in the open beta. Just go mental with all the weapons and just like try and get a feel for them, because first couple of games I played this, I was just like, I'm not feeling this, and after that I was like, I've just got to take my time with this and just try and use every weapon and just figure out, how do they actually work, because it's very different to BF4. There's a lot more, I'd definitely say there's a lot more times you need to just carry on firing, even if you're missing. You kind of just need to keep on firing, because if you try and burst fire, your axe, it just seems to disappear. I've definitely changed up the way the weapons work. I'm gonna get a nice little kill streak over here. You see, I'm using the map to my advantage. I'm not rushing out into the open, staying behind walls, and that's the way you gotta go. Look at this guy, he fails the charge. I'm gonna get him, and there's another guy, he runs past me and fails the charge again. Two guys there, you gotta watch out for that. A lot of people are getting it wrong. You really gotta just focus dead center on the player, and that's the way you get those kills. Now, we are getting swamped by any enemies here. We're gonna push for this echo flag. See on the minimap, there's just lots of people around this area. Flags are all taken. We're kind of screwed. Gotta take your time when you're running into these flags. Gotta check each corner. You don't have to be super, checking every corner, but you just gotta get a good feel of what's going on around you. If you get it wrong, you'll run out, get shot pretty easily. Unfortunately, not gonna get that guy. Definitely not. See that, guys? You can see on the kill cam, he's hiding behind the wall. Gonna see a lot of people doing that. You've got to make sure you're, checking the environment. So you'll see a lot of people, the better players, just taking the time in certain places, sitting behind walls, just getting a feel of what's going on around them. It is harder in many ways than BF4, but I don't want you guys to think that it's going to be super hard. It's not like, it's not going to be super serious kind of tactical gaming. There's obviously a different level of skill needed, but once you get used to it, you'll be fine. I'm sure there's many good players on my subscribe list, so I think you guys will be fine, but just saying, you got to change your kind of mindset for this game. It happened to me first couple of streams of playing this on the closed alpha. I was just kind of rushing in and just playing it a little bit too much like BF4 and BF3. That's some good advice, actually. Just approach the open beta with an open mind. Don't try and play it too much like BF4. If you're used to Operation Locker, I don't think you're gonna have an easy time on this. You need to you need to get out of that.
That's an enemy shock trooper.
Look at this guy. Look at this prediction. Goes around here. Dink, dink, dink. I love that actually. That guy went zooming through that building. There are situations where you'll be shooting through windows, following targets. That's pretty cool. I hope there's more areas in other maps that allow for that. The kind of dynamic gameplay, I would call it. There's definitely a great deal of that in this game. You'll never feel like each map or each flag plays the same. Obviously, if there's vehicles around, you kind of get the feeling like, oh, I'm just going to get swamped. But in terms of infantry, it's definitely varied. Definitely varied. It's great, actually. It is great. And talking of variety, look at the destruction here. I mean, 10 minutes ago, this place was fine. Look at it now. It's completely changed. And the good thing about the destruction, it's not like the building doesn't just collapse and then that's it, and it kind of looks the same every time you go up to it on every game. Sometimes some buildings don't get destroyed. Sometimes not all the walls will be intact. Sometimes it's just a tiny little bit. Sometimes there'll be nothing really destroyed, or maybe just like a couple of roofs here and there, and people are sniping out of them. So you constantly have that kind of variety of gameplay going on that keeps the gameplay fresh. And that is one of the things that I think will, really help this game just stay as fresh as it can for a long time. And talking of variety, actually, look at this building. There's a bookcase on my right. It's destroyed at the moment, but that is great for taking cover. That one, I've seen a few sneaky buggers, being very cheeky in the corner behind that. Definitely gotta watch out for that. And there is a bed there that I was stood on. The reason I was stood on that was to stop anyone charging in. If someone comes charging in, if they know you're in there, that'll stop them. You can jump while charging, but a lot of players don't seem to be doing it. I don't know why. Maybe they just don't know it. Nice little kill feed there. I mean, look at this, we've got flames going on, we've got fire on the vehicle, people rushing in, we've got tanks over here. It's all going on. And the great thing about this game, the way the map is designed, is there will be times when you do get swamped by vehicles, but often you get this mixture of infantry and vehicle warfare going on. It's great, and then a plane just crashes in there. It is great, it is really great. I've got to say, I'm actually just so looking forward to this game. I know this is PC gameplay, I've not played it on PS4, but I can assume the PS4 gameplay is going to be just as good. And that is the end of the game there. It says 11 deaths there, but we get a spawn in a second. That counts as the 12. Conquest has changed, by the way. It goes up to 200, not down, and kills don't count towards the score at the end, but they are important, and that is another topic for discussion. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I hope you enjoyed this gameplay. Thank you very much for watching, and please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching. Catch you later.